King Alexander I of Greece. During World War I, Greece was a deeply divided country. The nation was torn apart by the national schism, a bitter conflict between supporters of King Constantine I, who favored neutrality but was widely believed to sympathize with the Central Powers, and those who believed Greece should join the Entente. In 1917, under heavy pressure from the Entente, Constantine I was forced into exile. He left Greece alongside almost the entire royal family. Rather than abolish the monarchy altogether, the Entente placed Constantine's second son, Alexander, on the throne. He was isolated, constantly monitored, and forbidden from contacting his own family. Alexander had only one true companion, his German shepherd dog named Fritz. He was the king's closest friend, and his only source of comfort. Alexander valued him above anything else. On October 2, 1920, Alexander was walking with Fritz through the gardens of the Tatoi estate near Athens. Suddenly, a domesticated monkey, owned by the palace vineyard keeper, attacked Fritz. The king rushed in to pull the animals apart. At that moment, another monkey lunged at Alexander, biting him deeply on the leg and torso. Servants chased the animals away, cleaned the wounds, and wrapped them in bandages. The injuries were considered minor, and doctors chose not to cauterize them, partly to avoid public attention. By that same evening, the wounds became infected. Alexander developed severe sepsis, and doctors discussed amputating his leg but refused, fearing the responsibility if the king died. His condition worsened day by day. The infection spread throughout his body, and medicine had no cure. King Alexander died at the age of 27. After his death, his father Constantine returned from exile and reclaimed the throne, and Greece soon spiraled into a disaster, drawn into the catastrophic Greco-Turkish War, a defeat so severe that it ultimately led to the abolishment of the Greek monarchy. President Zachary Taylor. In the summer of 1850, the United States was on the brink of crisis. The country was deeply divided over the expansion of slavery into newly acquired Western territories, and tensions between North and South were rising fast. At the center of it all was Zachary Taylor, the 12th President of the United States. He was a national war hero, known for his victories in the Mexican-American War. Even though he was a slave owner from the South, Taylor opposed expansion of slavery into new territories. On July 4, 1850, Washington, D.C. was suffering under intense heat. President Taylor attended a long ceremony at the unfinished Washington Monument, standing for hours in the blazing sun. He returned to the White House exhausted and badly dehydrated. Once inside, Taylor reportedly consumed large quantities of cold milk, iced water, and fresh cherries. Within hours, the president was suffering from a severe stomach cramps, vomiting, and diarrhea. Doctors diagnosed his condition as cholera morbus, a term used at the time for a sudden stomach illness. Medical care in the 1800s was limited and often harmful. Taylor was treated with opium, calomel, and bloodletting, methods that likely made his condition worse. Over the next 5 days, his health steadily declined. On July 9, 1850, Zachary Taylor died at just 16 months into his presidency. Almost immediately, rumors began to spread. Because of Taylor's strong opposition to the expansion of slavery, some people believed he had been poisoned, possibly with arsenic. More than a century later, his body was exhumed and tested. Scientists found no evidence of poisoning. Today, the most likely cause of his death is believed to be a severe stomach infection, made deadly by extreme heat, contaminated food or water, and the poor medical care of the time. Johan de Witt. In the 17th century, the Dutch Republic was one of the most powerful and wealthy states in Europe. Unlike most other countries at the time, it was not a monarchy. Its government was divided between two rival factions. One side supported the House of Orange, which wanted a strong leader similar to a king. The other side supported the republican system, where power rested with elected officials and merchants. Johan de Witt was firmly anti-Orange. As Grand Pensionary of Holland, he was the most powerful Republican politician in the Dutch Republic. He worked actively to keep the House of Orange out of power, believing they would turn the Republic into a monarchy. For years, his policies brought stability and prosperity. But everything changed in 1672, a year the Dutch later called the disaster year. The Republic was suddenly attacked by France, England, and their allies. The country panicked, and the public anger exploded. Supporters of House of Orange blamed Johan de Witt for the crisis. They accused him of weakening the military and betraying the nation. Tensions peaked when Johan's brother, Cornelis de Witt, was falsely accused of plotting to assassinate William of Orange and was thrown into prison. On August 20th, 1672, Johan went to visit his brother in The Hague. Outside the prison, an Orange-supporting mob had gathered. The crowd dragged both brothers into the street, beat them to death, removed their organs, and ate parts of their corpses. With the De Witt brothers dead, William of Orange rose to power, effectively ending the republican system Johan had spent his whole life defending. King Louis III of France. In the late 9th century, West Francia, the kingdom that would later become France, was a fragile and violent place. It faced Viking raids, internal instability, and short-lived rulers. One of them was King Louis III. Louis became king in 879, ruling jointly with his brother Carloman II. Despite his young age, he proved himself a capable warrior, earning respect for his victories against Viking raiders. In 882, Louis was staying in the town of Saint-Denis. According to contemporary chronicles, he noticed a young woman running through the streets. Whether she was a servant, a local girl, or possibly his lover remains unclear. What is clear is that the king chased after her. In his haste, Louis rode his horse at full speed through a narrow street. He failed to notice a low doorway stretching across the road. The king slammed his head into it, and the impact shattered his skull. Louis was only 18 years old when he died shortly afterward. His death left the kingdom without a strong leadership, and after his brother's death a few years later, West Francia plunged once again into further political chaos.